Hey guys, it's Krystal Lee Moore here, also known as your Home Sweet Home 519 Realtor, Krystal Lee Moore, and this is Realtor Life, a fun and entertaining look at life in the trenches as a real estate professional in Ontario. Thank you so much for listening. We're happy you're here. So today we're going to talk about mindset, as always. I think mindset's very important in this particular real estate climate, but also who you're surrounding yourself with, and that includes clients, negotiating what's important, and decluttering. So I'm going to actually change things up today, and we're going to go in reverse order and talk about decluttering because, number one, it's very important, but also I'm doing a decluttering challenge right now. So decluttering, I have heard as a concept for a long time. Declutter is something it's a job we give to our clients when we're getting ready to stage their homes. It is something we talk about as kind of in January, we should start the year fresh by decluttering. But what does it really mean? And one of my good friends decided to start us on a decluttering challenge for the month of June. And we actually looked into it. So a couple things. Now, I will say props to my mom for mentioning this a lot over the span of my lifetime. But clutter actually adds stress. So when there's clutter, it's very hard to relax because your brains think you need to do something with it. And even if you feel comfortable when you have clutter, it can be really disheartening. And I know we had Kay Habib interviewed on this podcast, and she was talking about how you can just kind of do even one thing a day once you get the main declutter done. And one of those things is making your bed. So I used to be a very big proponent of not making my bed. It was almost like a badge of honor. Like, I don't have to make my bed. I'm fine. And then I read something instantly from Meghan Markle on her old blog, The Tig. And these, you can actually go back and find archived copies of The Tig. It was a really, really cool little blog. But they talked about how if you make your bed every morning, like this, I don't remember what it was, but make your bed every morning. And it was kind of it was a turning point for me because I thought I could make my bed every morning and that could be the first thing I do every day. That is a win. So you start the day with a win. You've made the bed, and that's that. And my husband can attest to this. We were dating at the time, and I make the bed every single morning, even when we're on vacation, just so I can check it off my list. But yeah, so make the bed every day. But on the decluttering challenge, so you can actually find a lot of these things online. Just Google free decluttering challenge PDF. And there will be a whole list of things. But the first thing you need to do for any of these challenges is to dig into the psychology of clutter. So we are a culture that, we have a lot of stuff. Consumerism is at a very high rate, especially through things like COVID and the ease of purchasing with credit and online shopping. So we get a lot of stuff. And that includes memory stuff. We're always collecting things and cards and pictures and knickknacks. And what happened with this declutter challenge is you just sit back and go, what do I need it for? Why do I have this? And Marie Kondo was a big popular thing kind of in 2019. And it was, does this bring me joy? So I kind of decided to take that into our life. And we're kind of 3 weeks into June, and we started this at the beginning of June. And I have donated 3 entire carloads of items, and I've been able to gift things to colleagues. I've been able to find things that I thought I had lost because I'm sifting through. And so as realtors, as entrepreneurs, we get a lot of free stuff. And at trade shows, we always think, oh, I might use this. And then you end up like me where you have 12 stress balls that you don't use. And what's nice is that I was able to bring all of that free stuff to my office, and my colleagues dispersed of it. And I'm sure they all took a reasonable amount because that was all from one person. And there are like 200 plus colleagues. So I'm sure it's all gone to a good place. But The issue for me was that it was just getting very overwhelming how much stuff there was, especially when you go into it, and how freeing it feels when you get rid of some of the stuff. I decided to go a little fancy and I color coded my bookshelf, which is something I always thought looked cool, but I thought I could never do. I did it and it looks very cool. So I recommend, if you would like to give it a try, you can do a very easy declutter challenge. And the key is you either, like, the first step that they make you do is put a donation section in your house. So you have a garbage bag, but you also have a donation, because I think in general, we feel bad throwing things out that shouldn't be thrown out. And I agree with that. And your donations can go to a local organization. So I will bring mine to Goodwill or Mission Services. I just heard is a really good one. But there's also a lot of these Facebook buy nothing sites. And the goal is to bring down consumerism, which on a level also ties into climate help, because the less we're consuming and buying and creating, the less we're damaging the earth. So it's kind of nice to be able to pay it forward. We're saving money, we're saving the environment, we're saving our mental health. Like, it really is a triple win. So that is the decluttering challenge, and I recommend that you do it with everything. So if you're hanging on to something, the question is, will you need it or look at it? So a lot of the times we do this with photos or cards, and if the next time you're going to look at something is kind of, if you have to move or if someone else is having to go through your stuff, if the unthinkable happens, why do you have it? And it's an interesting question. So I definitely recommend digging into that. But the declutter challenge, and what's nice is if you do it with a group, you don't feel, because it can feel really overwhelming. So on the overwhelming days, because a lot of us, these entrepreneur type A personalities, you know who you are, you want to do everything all at once. And let me tell you, if you are decluttering an office or a home, it's not happening all at once. Like, you will pass out from exhaustion before you're even able to do half. So we've been doing either a section a day or a room a day, depending. And then for the rooms that I can't tackle right away, I take 5 things out of each room. So that could be, I know women were really bad for it. We have all of these products and we'll buy them and we'll use them, and then we don't want to use them anymore. It feels ridiculous to throw them out. We can't donate them because they're open. What do you do? So I have a few people that will take my stuff, because I have so many cool things that I unfortunately waste money on. And they're happy to take it. But my goal moving forward is to not waste my money on things unless I love them and will finish them. So wish me luck. But same thing with books or planners or notebooks. So I brought them all to my office, and people were able to take them because they needed them. So thinking that you're going to be able to use something one day, unless you're pretty sure that day will come soon, why are you hanging on to it? You do not need to. Then the next thing, negotiating what's important. So a lot of the times as a real estate agent, we can get trapped, even when we're over 10 years into it, we get trapped into this cycle of working with anyone who kind of quote unquote needs us, even the ones who don't really need us or who maybe are not going to be the best to work with. And we don't need to do that. So just like with any business, you don't need to work with someone who's going to disrespect you or who won't trust you. So a lot of us build this business to help people who trust us. And if that trust falls apart, and it doesn't have to be anyone's fault, but if the trust isn't there, you're going to have a really hard time the whole time. So it's not going to be a one-off. It's going to be every time something needs to happen, it's going to be a fight or an argument. And that's not good for them. It's not good for you. And so when we get into a market that's a little bit more difficult, we might be willing to take on more challenging clients. But I actually urge you to really qualify clients and decide, am I able to help them? And is this the right choice? Because on the one hand, it's important to have clients, but on the other hand, you just have you. And we are going to revisit that almost every episode, because as an entrepreneur, you have your well-being and that's all you have. So if you cannot be your best you, then you can't give your best to anybody. So it's very important that you negotiate that you have a certain way of working, and that includes trust and communication, and they need to be on board with that. It also means surrounding yourself with the right people. So clients who respect you and colleagues who respect you. And if anyone is going to make you feel like less than, you don't need to be around them. There are 7 billion people on the planet. You don't need to be around someone who's going to be rude to you or who's going to treat you like less than you are. That it's just not necessary. There's no rule that says you have to speak to everyone. And if someone's going to make you feel bad, the best way to say it is, as someone who's an entrepreneur, you want to be in an abundance mindset. The only time there should be scarcity is with your time. So you only have so much time. Do not spend it with people who are not going to make you feel good. And in the event that you have no choice, you have to spend it with someone who's not going to make you feel great. Limit that time if you can, and then just make sure you're finding another way to bring up your self-esteem and your self-worth. I just want to share something really quickly. So I had a couple of experiences in a row with some people. One was a client, one was a colleague, and just not great. It was just not a great series of events. And I was just really feeling down. And I decided to take a pause and watch a movie that always makes me smile. So I watched Legally Blonde. And for anyone who actually has watched Legally Blonde, it's on the surface, it's a very fluffy movie with no substance, but it's not. It's actually a really, really good movie, and it's about perseverance and proving people wrong. And there's this really great scene at close to the end, and Elle is just ready to leave. She has been kind of harassed by a professor. Everyone's being rude to her. Nobody expects much from her. And she goes to see her friend Paulette, and she says, you know what, I don't know what I was thinking, trying to be a lawyer. I don't know what I was doing, trying to be taken seriously. It turns out I'm a joke. I'm going to leave. And the teacher, who she thought kind of didn't think much of her, turns around, because she's at the same salon, and she says, if you're going to let one stupid beep ruin your life, you're not the girl I thought you were. And it just hits. It's just, if you're going to let, in different language, if you're going to let one insignificant person throw you off course and take you away from all the good you're destined to do, then you don't deserve this role. And I can tell you, we all deserve this role. So just stand tall, walk proud, and remember that you might not be everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay. But don't you dare let anyone make you feel like less than, because we are all destined for amazing things. Not the same things. We're not all supposed to do the same thing. But whatever you're here for, don't let anyone throw you off course. You are here to do your best to make a difference. And it's kind of, life is about figuring out what that means. What does your difference look like? What impact will you have on the world? Are you leaning into those strengths? And we all have gifts. So maybe you already know what yours are, and that's fantastic. I like to think that we're all still figuring it out, even if you know what they are. We're refining all the time, constant and never-ending learning. And it's just such a big deal. And so with that, I will just reiterate, definitely I recommend the decluttering. If you can declutter your space, you'll find yourself more relaxed. You will sleep better. It's very nice. Negotiating what's important. So make sure that you are doing things and living the life that you want, because you only have one. There's only the one life. We don't know how many days we have, and spend the ones you have doing what makes you happy and doing what you're good at. And don't let anyone throw you off course. And if by chance you do get off course, as we all do, just get back up, dust yourself off, and keep going, because the world needs you. So I am Krystal Lee Moore. also known as your home sweet home 519 realtor, Krystal Lee Moore. This is Realtor Life, and I am so, so happy that you are here today. Have a great day.